I see you're here for the deal of a lifetime, eh? Welcome back, troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Oh man, this is such a beautiful limited edition guitar that we need to talk about today. So I was first tipped off to this a couple of nights ago on my Facebook page. A guy's making a video essay about Gibson's impact within Canada, and he came across this weird Mapleburst R8 that was a Canadian limited edition, and he wanted to know if I knew anything about these. So naturally, I typed it in, did a little bit of research, and was shocked at what I found. This was a limited edition done for the dealer Long and Mcquade, where they did a run of 75 of these plain top R8s. That shop is located in Canada, so that's why it is a Canadian exclusive. But I mean, you can check all the used markets. Some of them made it back to the US. Apparently these didn't sell that well, so they just kind of shipped them to wherever they would go. So taking a look here, it's just a regular R8, except for it has a special Canadian influenced finish called Mapleburst. Now just looking at this, if somebody were to throw this in with a bunch of different other burst colors, I probably could not call it Mapleburst or even think of anything like that or think it's anything special. So you're probably wondering, how do we know that this is a Mapleburst finish? Because it just kind of looks like a mix between like an iced tea finish with like a faded tobacco burst. It basically just blended those. The way that you can differentiate these is by the serial number. It doesn't have your traditional serial number. It starts CAN for Canada. It starts CAN for Canada, and then you got 88, and then you have the number within the run. So there'll always be a 0, and it goes all the way up to 75. So for example, this one is number 31 of the run of 75. Now you're probably curious, what do these things mean? 8 for 1958 reissue, and 8 right here for 2008. And if it wasn't for that special serial number, these likely would have just been lost to time, except for one really incredibly just hilarious piece of case candy that I fell in love with. That's right, official Gibson Canadian-made maple syrup. I love it. I want one so bad. I have never woken up in my entire life wishing to have Gibson branded maple syrup, but now I need it so bad. But at the same time, this is the most cursed piece of case candy ever to be put in with a guitar. As you know, you get really cool straps with like the Tony Iommi SG or like the double neck slash, or you get like bolo ties with the Chuck Berry 350T. I mean, there's some pretty cool case candy out there, right? But nothing tops this, because maple syrup has a finite shelf life. So if you keep it in your case, it's eventually going to go bad. And what happens if it leaks all over your case? Then you're going to get ants wanting to come in and eat your guitar. And also at the same time, the temptation. It is there to use it on your beautiful stack of pancakes. But if you use this maple syrup, you are effectively devaluing your guitar. Because in my hunt for this guitar, seeing if there were any for sale, any that show up that doesn't have that maple syrup, I'm not interested in. I care more about the syrup than the guitar. You pay brand new $3,150 US for Gibson branded maple syrup, but you get this limited edition R8 thrown in with the mix. I mean, you could use the maple syrup and just keep the container in the case. I would consider that. But for me, it's all about that sweet golden goodness inside. So let's just take a look here. This was the nicest example I found, and it was for sale by Guitar Chimp a couple of years ago. The wood grain just is so awesome on this one. Since these were all plain tops, you can't really find a super flamed out one. But at the same time, I really like plain tops when they have, you know, all this beautiful wood grain, and they get a little bit of shining within the light. Like if you hold them up to the light and you move them, you get a slight dancing figuring, but not necessarily flame or quilt. There really is a beauty to these guitars that cannot be captured on camera. Now, in doing some research for this, I found some conflicting information out there, but most people say it came with Burstbucker 1 and 2 pickups. But I did find one source that said they actually come with 2 and 3, so I guess that's kind of up in the air if that's something special or not, because the regular ones of the era came with 1 and 2. But you'll have the historic long neck tenon, you'll have the ABR1 bridge with a lightweight aluminum tailpiece, your typical 58 top hat knobs with thumb bleeds, a nice creamy pick guard right here, matched with these historic spec pickup rings, poker chip, and it looks like a maple switch tip, and nothing too fancy with the case either. your regular certificate of authenticity, and all the cool case candy that normally came with this era. That's right, back in the 2000s, they would actually give you this nice little care kit. You get a polished cloth that was actually good, and you got a Gibson official lead. The fretboard on this example is extremely rosy. It really ties in with the whole maple syrup vibe. But the headstock does not appear to be, anything special here. Just built to regular historic specs. But there is one more secret hiding on this guitar, and you can see it at the back of the headstock. You get a giant maple leaf that says limited edition, so if the serial number and the maple syrup in your case doesn't tip you off, you've got a little decal back here, so that's a nice little touch. So how much will one of these plain top R8s run you? I think it really depends if you have the maple syrup and what kind of condition it's in. Most of them I see on the used market anywhere between $25 to about $32.50. That seems about right. I think you could probably push really hard to $3,500 if you have one in like mint condition with the maple syrup and you want to list it right after I make this video. But otherwise, I think it might be fun to pick one of these up one day just to document that maple syrup in beautiful B-roll glory. So now that we've seen this beautiful one, let's check out some of these other ones that I've listed. This one, it's okay. Nowhere near as good as that first one. It's got more wide patterns, so I'm sure somebody will like that. This kind of helps capture that finish. It really just, isn't doing anything special for me except for that maple syrup bottle. Call it a gimmick, but, it's perfect for that Canadian limited release. Now that I see it standing up, I kind of actually like that wood grain. That one's pretty cool too. Oh, is there one for sale right now? Nah, this is the one where the listing just ended. I hate it when that happens. Do you guys ever run into that? Google being out of date, it gets your hopes up. In stock, you click on it and then your heart gets broken, just ripped out. This one, I can't say I'm digging the plain top on it. I need something a little bit more special, wavy wood grain, that's just me. But the back does have that nice cherry color. And here's another good shot. It looks like this one, is that 42 or 48? Can't quite tell from this angle. But that one has a nice streak right there on the fretboard. Kind of slightly reminds you of Brazilian rosewood, but it's not. Photo's not quite loading on this one, but you can see the bottle right there. And here's another interesting one that almost kind of has like a bird's eye top to it. That's something else that I've noticed about this finish. It appears that it might actually change colors in person from that iced tea to like a really dark burst on the edge. I mean, you can take a look at this shot of somebody else that did a small video segment of theirs. It almost appears completely black at this angle, but then you get it in the light, it really lightens up. So maybe this finish is hiding just how cool it is. But have they used Mapleburst on anything else? So that was 2008. It looks like around 2012 they did a J45 in Mapleburst. I'm not much of an acoustic guy, but if they would have threw some maple syrup in with this one too, maybe then I'd be interested. But for my quick searches online, that's the only other time I've heard of something specifically called Mapleburst. So for our playing demo today, let's go ahead and check out a 2008 Gibson R8. The only question left, would you rock the Mapleburst maple syrup combo of this Gibson R8 or not? Leave your answer down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.